Welcome to Subramani. Today I'm going to talk to you about social influencers, in the sense that let's go back in time. As long back as 2015, there was this woman who was named as one of the most influential, top 100 influential, top 30 influential by Time magazine, and she was just 31 years of age. She was the epitome of business ethics, managerial ethics, personal ethics, etc. I hadn't heard about her, and she was, of course, a US phenomena that President Obama spoke about her. I think he invited her to the US Congress. Harvard put her on a pedestal, invited her on the board, and all these things had happened, and she was like nothing could stop her. I mean, publicly most admired. I mean, she was admired by people like Henry Kissinger, George Shultz, and Jim Mattis. And Jim Mattis once said, and this I have to quote, she is probably one of the most mature and well-honed sense of ethics, personal ethics, managerial ethics, business ethics, medical ethics that I've ever heard articulated. And I'm sure you know I'm talking about Elizabeth Holmes, right? So she came down crashing. Her investors lost about 600 million. It's not so much about the loss, but it's more about the ethics. Similarly, in India, we had a person called R. Subramaniam. He was IIT Chennai, IIM Ahmedabad, gold medalist, best marks. He spent 15 days in Citibank, so I wouldn't call him an ex-Citibanker, but he wanted that, so that's why he spent 15 days in Citibank, or maybe 15 months. So this person ran Subiksha, ran it to the ground, and he recently got sentenced to some 10 years or 20 years in prison. Now the question is, how do these people, whether it is R. Subramaniam or Holmes, fool so many people for such a long period of time, right? For a long period of time, you're raising money, you're recruiting people, you're opening shops, you're taking things on rent, right? So all these things happen, and how is it that you're meeting so many people? I think I have not met Elizabeth Holmes, but I have met R. Subramaniam. One is, he's very confident about the things he says. Also, there is this education bias. He's IIT, he's IIM, he's a rank holder, he's a gold medalist, so obviously doors open. No doors can be shut to a person like this. Good confidence, which leads him to perhaps start believing his own story. Obviously something was wrong with the books, something was fudged. We don't know enough, at least I don't know enough to talk about it, but obviously something went wrong, right? So the company crashed, and he went to jail. It can't get worse for a promoter, right? You make money, you don't make money, it's a different thing, but ultimately if everything crashes and you go to jail, then it's very difficult to say what went right and what went wrong. So what happens is, when you are good at something, or when you're confident, or when you are academically very good, everybody around you looks at you and praises you, you tend to become a little godlike. In fact, one top fund manager said, "Arey Bhagwan bana ke rakha hai," which is true, because they look at everything that you say and everything that you do and look like, oh God, you can't make mistakes, kind of a thing. So let me quote Hartford, and he describes the God complex as, no matter how complicated the problem, you have absolutely overwhelming belief that you're infallibly right in your solution. It gives you that overconfidence, and then maybe you do things which are wrong. So similarly, Holmes believed in her ability to revolutionize the medical industry at the expense of everyone around her, and that is not exclusive to Holmes alone. That is what R. Subramaniam also set out to do. He said, oh, I'm going to change the way the retail people buy. So Subiksha stores were in small locations, not very great locations, and not very great looking shops. Self-help was there, but there were other shops which were so small that they would come home and deliver it for you. All these services which he had done. Obviously something went wrong, I'm not going into that. Similarly, even in case of long-term capital management, which is much older than this, or whether it was a case of a person who say Robert Kiyosaki, who keeps saying now the market will fall, now only crypto will survive, only crypto and gold will survive, all the fiat currencies will go for a toss, dollar will go for a toss, therefore the equity markets will crash. Somebody keeps saying this, and everybody has a fan following. There is a fan following for Rahul Gandhi, and there is a small portion of the Indian population which believes that he should be the Prime Minister of the country. I'm not getting into right or wrong, I'm not even trying to make it political, but I'm saying that there are people who believe in that, and these are, I would call, the influencers. They are able to convince a small set of people, maybe a bigger set of people. A bigger set of people are able to convince that Modi should be the Prime Minister, but there is a small set which thinks Rahul Gandhi should be the Prime Minister. I'm not getting into right or wrong, I'm just saying into the people's ability to influence, right? So therefore the God, wearing the God mantle is not very difficult, because when somebody comes and gives it to you and says, oh, you're the best, you know everything, it starts becoming like a religion. For me, sitting and talking about equity with anybody is not very difficult. So for us it is a religion, and we honestly believe that equities is the way to go. Obviously, whether it is US equity, Indian equity, are all things to discuss, but this God thing of saying, I know everything and I can solve all problems, at least maybe in a narrow field, it's very difficult to give up that mandate, right? Because somewhere deep inside us is buried somebody wanting to tell us what to do, and for the God people to believe that they know everything and they can give a view on everything. So we all need our gods. That is also a problem. So it is we want to be told how to think, what to think, and today we want to go and ask Google for everything. How much water should I drink? Should I get up in the morning? What are the advantages of drinking warm water? Should I drink warm water or cold water, right? So all these kind of questions we want to be told what to do. Why can't you drink water as per your thirst? That's what you've been doing all your life. So why do you need somebody to tell you, you have to drink 8 glasses of water, you have to drink 3 bottles of water? I don't know from where we have this need for gods. So if you create a fake account on Twitter and get 30,000 followers, that's not going to be very difficult. Then from there going to 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 is not very difficult. Then you start making money, then you start giving advice, and when you are giving financial advice, from there you go to business advice, from there you go to accounting advice, you go to health advice, right? So you can do all those things by creating your own ecosystem where there are people who believe whatever you have to say. So are there, I mean, when a very successful person gives you advice, let's say Warren Buffett today gives you advice. So let me go to what Warren Buffett's advice for the youngsters was. So it said, read and write more, stay healthy and fit. Networking is about giving. He is not taking that. He's not talking about networking being about taking. Practice public speaking. Stay teachable, yeah, which means be learnable. The other way to look at it. Find a mentor. Keep in touch with friends. You are not your job, which means have a life outside your job also. Know when to leave, and don't spend what you don't have. And I don't think any influencer would want to give this kind of advice, right? So why is this advice so great? Because it's simple and it comes from a person who has actually perhaps done some of it, at least, if not the stay healthy, fit, but he is healthy, his genes are good. So simply because people don't want even such a long answer, they want very short answers. Typically, if I said here are 10 tips to stay rich, 20 steps to stay healthy, right? People want those simple steps. They don't want to read a full article, they want it enumerated, right? So none of us are immune from some of this. We all get influenced, we all love to influence also. Are we very different from the other normal people? Answer is no. We are all normal people, but we like the God, we like a God, and we like to be God sometimes when we can. So why do we, so what do we really worship? Because there is something we are, okay, here let me quote David Foster Wallace in his idea of worship. And when he says, because there is something that is weird but true in the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as atheism. There is no such thing as not worshipping. Everybody worships. The only choice what we get to worship. So somebody like me might be worshipping equity, might be worshipping the good fund managers or good people who manage equity. So something, we all worship something. I mean, I'm not even getting into not worshipping. So Lord Rama, 22nd January, we're looking to the Prana Pratishtha, right? So we all worship somewhere deep in our heart. We do worship. We have gods, we are creating new gods. So social influencers are our gods. So we go and ask our social influencers, I'm 32 years old, what insurance policy should I take? I'm 35 years of age, what mutual fund should I invest? I think you should learn the basics and then try to find your own answers. When you get answers, please remember those answers were made for somebody else, or somebody else is paying for those answers. So it could be a mutual fund which is sponsoring and said, oh, put into this mutual fund. You don't even know whether that mutual fund is paying that influencer exactly for saying that, or for saying open a broking account with XYZ brokerage account, right? So all those things are paid for. You need to understand. But in our quest for a God, we listen to people. You have to choose whom to listen to. Thank you.